welcome back to the Steady Rolling Man presents The Masks of Nyarlathotep. In this episode, the investigators get a hand from an old friend, a long-dead friend. Let's see what happens as we return to the action.
Okay, Tuesday the 17th of February 1925. After returning from their ill-fated visit to Derby, facilitated by the timely arrival of Mr. Briggs, Blake and Jacob are back in London, at the Savoy to be precise, dealing with the horrific loss of two close companions and planning their next move against the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh. Albert Briggs has remained on the scene at the request of the mysterious Mr. Finch, and has pledged his support in the battle against the dark shadow of cultist activity that looms ever larger, threatening London and beyond. Bert knows about the tome, and has seen the effect it has had on Mr. Finch. He is no naive unbeliever. Alongside Mr. Briggs, a fourth individual has recently thrown his lot in with our beleaguered investigators. Charles Fitzwarren MP, elder brother of the recently departed Stanton, and receiver of terrible visions as portent of his siblings' demise. Charles has been driven to make contact not only by familial connection and concern, but also by the story of an old friend, Pinky Carstairs, who has recently met an untimely end with undoubted connections to the Brotherhood, and more specifically Zara Shafiq. Frustrated in their attempts to speak with Shafiq in her spice shop, the group have nonetheless discovered more about Mesa House and its location from the dancer Yalisha, and are now sat in the Dog and Duck, a small public house just off the Strand, planning their next move, with a visit to Walton-on-Naze high on the agenda, once they have worked out how to avoid the cultists that have seemingly followed them since they left Soho.
So I think we were discussing whether we allow them to follow us and then deal with them outside of the city, or we try to lose them. I think it's fair to suggest that they are probably less interested in just following us now, and probably be more keen to do away with us if they have the opportunity.
We won't have as much opportunity in central London as outside London.
True.
But then won't we have the opportunity to do away with them?
Exactly. So there's the kind of there is more opportunity on both sides should we leave the city. But we do have to leave the city, so we could try and draw them away by heading in the opposite direction to where we are actually going to be going, which is Cavigan's house, and try and lose them.
Try and lose them. That might be plan A, and then if we can't lose them, plan B may involve a little more
deal with
violence.
them. Yeah, I think we need to overcomplicate matters by trying to dispose of them, because if we do end up having to kill them, then there is the issue of bodies and just witnesses, and much as it seems to be the only way to deal with them, not totally all right with randomly killing people unless it's absolutely necessary.
So where do you think they found you today? Just randomly strolling the streets of London, or following you from...
It's possible. Well, you found us at the Savoy, Albert. Well,
I had a bit of luck on my...
Luck? How so?
Well, I don't think concierge would have imparted your... Browns would have imparted your location just any old Tom Dick. It's
No.
the fact that I know him and he knows my brother.
That is true. But let's assume that they couldn't manage it through some mundane way. We do have experience of cultists being able to use some form of mind control. So perhaps he was unable to help himself to provide the information.
Just going to the bathroom. I think I saw someone I recognise. Carry on without me, gentlemen. I'll be back presently.
Does Jacob head to the privies?
Yes.
Well, yes, he does, seemingly.
As he squeezes his way out of the window. Does it matter how they found us? They have eyes and ears everywhere. This is a web. I would have thought that if he wanted to, Mr. Finch could find us. Mr. Finch is a man of means. I have a sneaking suspicion that our cultist friends are men of means as well.
Yes, well, if they're associates, Mr. Cavigan, then that's certainly the case. I do think we need to tread very lightly as far as he's concerned.
Mr. Gavigan?
I think I mentioned earlier that he certainly has connections in high places.
I think our assumption is that we are dealing with people who are well connected and we can trust no one.
Oh yes, I'm sure that is the case. The list of people that we can trust, I'm sure we can count only on our fingers.
Well, those at this table, and with all due respect, I'm not too sure about you just yet.
When you say connected, sir, do you mean him disappearing is going to cause us untold grief?
Certainly questions will be asked, more questions than for a petty thief.
I've got no objections if questions are asked, as long as they're not asking us.
Yes, indeed. And that's when it becomes uncomfortable.
We've managed to cover our tracks quite well so far.
But, when we do get an opportunity, I'd certainly like to be brought up to speed on the rest of your investigation. But I do realise that our upcoming trip is time set.
Of course, we have many things that you could read. So perhaps if we survive the night, I can provide you with that to give you some additional context to what we're doing.
I myself needing the bathroom also.
At this point, Jacob returns practically at a run. I sit down. Gentlemen, you will not believe. The bathrooms are disgusting, by the way. But I saw Jackson. Jackson was in the bathroom. He spoke to me. Jackson Elias was in the bathroom. He spoke to me.
And what did he say?
He said we needed assistance, or he knew we needed assistance, that we were at something of a dead end and a loss, and told us we need to head to Limehouse, where Mr. Mills and Mr. Noble will help us. Limehouse, Mills and Noble, we'll get help there. It was Jackson.
You are aware, of course, that Jackson is dead, Jacob.
I'll pop to the bathroom whilst these two talk.
Well, of course, I've seen his body. But he was there. He spoke to me, told me we need to go to Limehouse. Mills and Noble will help.
What do you think that was, Jackson? Do you think that was an apparition like the serving girl we saw in Derby? You'll forgive me, but it seems unlikely that we would be getting messages from Jackson from the grave at this point.
It was as real as she was.
And was it him that you thought you saw?
Yes.
So does this change your plans? And you wanted to go and see Shafiq as a priority?
Well, I think like Jackson's lead probably changes the plan, doesn't it? I don't know if Bert knows who Mills or Noble are. I certainly don't, but Jackson clearly did.
I'll look at Bert.
He's gone to the loo.
Oh, he's gone to... Well, I'll wait till Bert comes back, then I'll look at him.
But
no, he doesn't. But we're interested in knowing if he knows who Mills and Noble are, because that's new names to me, new names to Jacob. I'm assuming, Charles, it means nothing to you. It's possible Bert might know from his dealings with the kind of people that hang around in Limehouse, around that area. But I know it sounds ridiculous, but given what we're dealing with, but taking advice from a ghost seems a little out there.
Unusual, certainly.
Well, we know we can trust Jackson.
If that was Jackson. We don't know that was Jackson, do we? That could have been some spell causing an apparition that looks like Jackson.
Well, it was Jackson. I'm certain of it.
And did he disappear after he spoke to you? Or was he still there? Or was he still there when you left?
Well, he left like anyone would from the, as I said, the bathroom's disgusting.
Did you follow him straight out?
Didn't come back here?
No, I was a little shocked, and but I don't know where he went. I'm assuming you didn't see him.
No. So
you see Bert coming back now across the bar, across the pub.
Bert, did you see anyone in the gents?
No. Pretty dirty though.
Told you.
We have a quandary. Jacob thinks he saw the ghost of our friend Jackson Elias.
There's no thinks about it, Douglas. I saw him.
Let me rephrase this. Jacob is convinced that he saw the ghost of Jackson Elias. I am concerned that it was somebody using some form of magic or mind control to convince Jacob that it was Jackson Elias. The advice that was given was that we should go to Limehouse and seek out two gentlemen by the name of Mills and Noble who would help us. Do those names mean anything to you?
He didn't quite pronounce it noble. It was more like Nobel, but
Could it be the name of a company?
I said Mr. Mills and Mr. Nobel.
No, sorry, sir. That doesn't really ring any bells for me. Down Limehouse, you say?
Limehouse.
Could be a company, but it's nothing I've had any dealings with.
I right. What's the best way to disrupt a cultist ceremony with a lot of people there? Blowing it up. What did Mr. Nobel invent? Dynamite. What is a Mills bomb? It is a grenade. Perhaps there are munitions at the Limehouse that we could use. In which
Oh,
case we could
there'll be
trust Jackson.
all sorts of illegal things down Limehouse way, sir. Wouldn't know exactly where, but yeah, there's a fair chance we could get some dynamite down there.
Oh, it seems strange that Mills and Nobel would be mentioned. That's if it is Nobel, it's explosives. It's a reference to explosives.
Perhaps they have a warehouse next door to Mr. Lewis and Mr. Vickers.
I think you should be referencing Smith and Wesson for our.
Yes.
Well, that would certainly be the best way to disrupt their ritual.
The best way to disrupt it would be to kill Gavigan before he gets there. Do any of us have experience with explosives? This is a stretch, of course. This is me making a jump that two names given to us in a toilet in a boozer by a ghost.
Yes, it is unlikely.
Well, I've got a good feeling about it.
A leap of faith, I guess.
Right. Okay. Well, let's assume then that there's things in Limehouse that will be of use to us. It was guarded, wasn't it? And we were followed when we went there last time.
Well, we were followed away from there, weren't we?
Yes. It's possible that those were just thugs who wanted to mug us, but it seems unlikely that they would follow that far.
Did you have a specific warehouse that you wanted to get into?
It was Chowdhury's warehouse.
Yeah.
Chowdhury's. If we're going to try, it should be late. Cover of darkness and all that.
What's the time now?
It's about approaching 3 o'clock.
Okay. So we have going to Limehouse to visit Chowdhury's warehouse. We weren't going to go to Shafik again, were we? We'd have to lose our friends, and then we outside, and we were going to go and check out Gavigan's house. None of which we can do now. Well, apart from lose our friends outside.
They're quite likely to find us again, but.
Well, exactly. Well, or if we lose, then we'll find them standing outside the warehouse, or even worse, inside the warehouse when we break in.
Do you think the 3 thugs that followed us are connected with Gavigan? They weren't Egyptian, were they?
No, but then it's not only Egyptians that work with him, is it? I mean, he's not Egyptian.
No. Well, no, but it seems to have been almost exclusively Egyptians who've been following us.
Yeah, it might have been a coincidence, but we know that warehouse is used for cultist activities, so it's going to be guarded either inside or outside. And we know what happened last time we went in, and they were prepared for us. We lost 2 friends, and they're going to be definitely going to be ready for us this time. So again, though, does anybody have experience with explosives? Because if we're going in there to try and obtain explosives, I wouldn't even know how to use it. I mean, I could throw a Mills bomb, but no better than I could throw a very heavy metal cricket ball. And I didn't play cricket.
So laying explosives is not something that I did directly, but certainly some of the men under my command did.
Give me, Charles. It's so far every time we've asked you about your abilities, it's been somebody below you.
He's just leaning back. Don't be harsh on the man. He's just leaning back on his officer training. Have a cup of tea and let the real soldiers do it.
Yes, but then if it goes wrong, we take the blame.
Well, you'll be the only one left alive.
Well,
regardless, none of us have that skill, and unfortunately, I wouldn't know how we would go about finding somebody that did have that skill at short notice. I know someone that has that skill, but
it's maybe something to concern ourselves with when
once we've obtained
dynamite in our possession. Hey, it's not.
But then, so we'll be seeking to obtain something that we have no ability to use. It would be akin to us saying, let's go and raid a stable so that we can acquire horses to make a hasty escape. None of us can ride.
Thought Mills bombs were fairly simple to use, weren't they? Weren't they used by the?
Well, yes, they are, but you look at it. You could drop it with the pin out. Plus, you have to be within throwing distance of the people you're trying to kill, and they may well have firearms or worse, magic. I would rather not engage them directly at all.
Well, it
It
may be that
feels-
the explosives are more useful to destroy other things.
True.
Anyway,
I mean, if
we-
there are statues or something that we could destroy, that would
Well,
be
we need-
advantageous.
we need to decide whether we follow Elias's his lead. I think the only time we can really go to is after dark tonight. Because if the plan
Yes.
is to go to Essex tomorrow, it only really leaves tonight.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to get to if we could go to Essex today and do our investigations tonight, because tomorrow night is when the ceremony is, and there's going to be lots of people there.
Isn't it?
That's gonna be
It's Tuesday today,
Is
isn't
it Tuesday today? Have I got the days wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tuesday today.
Oh, it's
Thursday,
Tuesday. Okay.
Thursday is when the ceremony.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah, I
then,
knew it was Thursday.
it's decided then. Limehouse tonight, Essex tomorrow.
Cemetery day after.
Yeah.
Very well. Limehouse tonight then. How do we get rid of our tails in order to get to Limehouse and get into the warehouse?
Are we assuming they're still out there?
Out there, they've left. I mean, going up. Okay, can we see out the window? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a lot of people on the street outside, but there's nobody who is looking in or passing, as was you noticed before.
Well, we're going to need to go in to Limehouse with some equipment, aren't we? In terms of to get in and to protect ourselves. So if we're going to lose our tail, don't we need to make sure we've got our equipment first?
Yes.
So if we go back to the hotel, arm ourselves, make sure we're fully equipped, and then it becomes a question of how. But by then it may be dark, which might make it a little bit easier to lose them.
Right. Back to the hotel then. Collect our gear. Back out of the hotel. See if we still have a tail, and if we do, make a decision on how we deal with them. Are we using taxis, Charles? We're going to use your car.
I wonder if using a car might be a better way of losing them. We can drive straight off. They'll be dependent on getting a taxi. I mean, I
that
appreciate
is true.
they'll be on
Charles has to go and get his car, though, doesn't he?
Yes, and if I'm to obtain any equipment, I would need to go home first. I'm not sure these fellows know that that I'm associated with you.
They literally walked past the window and looked at our table, so they'll know that we're talking to you and to Bert here. I wouldn't take the risk if you're suggesting that you leave on your own.
Well, Charles and I will go to our abodes and meet the pair of you at the hotel. Double up.
That seems safer, not safest. But fine, I don't have a better plan.
Right then.
Limehouse is on the river, isn't it? Because of the docks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Perhaps we could take a boat across the Thames and access via the docks. There must be somebody on the river that would just ferry us across for a sum of money.
So you think you're taking a boat down the river, Limehouse?
No, just across the river or down the river slightly. I'm not saying that we take a massive long trip. I'm just saying that that's a way into Limehouse without having to take a car or anything. Of course, it does rather limit us on our escape routes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
better.
how
It's
do we get
better,
back?
it's better to have the car.
But the car is going to go up like a sore thumb in Limehouse, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking my car might be rather noticeable.
So, we'll be on foot either way. So we can't take the car in because it's too conspicuous. Probably on the way out of the warehouse, it'll either be gone or missing its wheels. We might just be better and quieter to come in via the river and then plan our escape another way. Bicycles. We could all buy bicycles, take them across the river. And then,
Yeah, let's see if we can get some camels or have they invented helicopters yet? How hard can we make it?
well, helicopters have definitely been invented by Mr. Da Vinci. I haven't got them to work yet, however. Well, how do you suggest? But how do we get into the Limehouse without gaining attention, unwanted attention, not just by the people we're trying to avoid, but by the local Yes.
Just walk in, but don't dress like that, he says, pointing at Charles.
Very well. Let's go and buy some
Working man's clothes.
working man clothes. Bert, would you be able to obtain?
Yeah, I'll sort that out.
Right. In which case, Bert, Charles, you two go and obtain suitable attire and then gather what you need from your respective homes. Meet us back at the Savoy, and we will get our stuff, and then we will go from there.
We're likely
Okay,
to
so-
need a crowbar, aren't we?
I've got one.
So if Bert and Charles are leaving, so how are you just going out the front door where you came in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All's
And
it.
then what are you doing? You just hailing a cab, a taxi, or a hansom?
The car's not walkable, is it? Basil?
Knightsbridge. So
Oh, yeah. We'll just get a taxi then. Yep.
Okay. Okay. You come out of the Dog and Duck, and then you jump into the nearest hackney carriage. I presume you're keeping your eyes and wits about you.
Of course.
yes,
And the other two, are you staying in the pub, or are you coming out at the same time?
Probably makes sense to come out at the same time. The two taxis simultaneously will be quite a challenge to follow.
Okay. Can you all make spot hidden rolls for me, please?
That's a success feat.
Fail for me.
yeah, terrible fail.
A hard success for me.
A hard success. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you emerge out onto the busy. You leave the pub, come out of the alleyway onto the Strand, and obviously it's kind of looking around. There's lots of people out here. You're just jumping into a cab, a hackney carriage that you flagged down. When you see a couple of men across the road, suddenly emerge from an alleyway and frantically try to start hailing a cab. One of them is white, and the other one is swarthy Egyptian-looking.
Okay. I'll try and keep an eye on the taxis that they get on to see if it does.
Okay, you jump into your carriage, into your hackney cab, and obviously weaving amongst all the traffic and individuals, you lose sight straight away. The last thing you see is them still frantically running up and down the pavement on the other side of the road, trying to flag somebody down. So you're pretty happy that there's no way they would have been able to follow you now because of the volume of traffic on the road.
Okay.
And that,
So,
right. So Bert and Charles, you're heading where first? Knightsbridge first, is it?
Yeah, we'll go to Knightsbridge first.
Or we go to get some clothes first, then I can change into them, leave my clothes at home. Otherwise,
Where am I going then, sir?
Bethnal Green.
Bethnal Green, Knightsbridge. Not much different, is there?
Driving, not commenting, hey?
Okay, he speeds off towards Bethnal Green. The other two, you're going straight to the Savoy, yeah?
Yeah, is there a back door to the pub or another entrance?
Did you go at the front?
Yeah.
Did you leave? 'Cause you left at the same
went on
time,
the
didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't really ask you. So you guys are going out the back, were you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You hailed down another hackney carriage, and then again, so you're heading off to the Savoy, the short journey to the Savoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going to go tooled up, Charles? Sorry, Douglas, rather.
Don't shout that to him. Yes, most definitely. To be honest with you, I'm carrying at the moment. So
And we're going to need a crowbar and the usual,
Going
usual
equipped.
tools.
yeah, I do have a crowbar. I acquired one from the cellar.
Okay. So you shortly after leaving the Strand, you arrive at the Savoy. So you jump out of the cab, pay the driver, head in through the opulent doors, past the doorman. What are you doing is heading straight upstairs.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, Bethnal Green, what are you doing once you get there on the slightly longer journey?
Yeah, Gerber Street, please. Get to Gerber Street where I live and go into my home, pick up some clothes for everybody, and
Yeah. Okay.
pick up my lockpicks and Betsy,
Okay.
who is Betsy is a sawn-off shotgun.
I guessed as much. I didn't think you would bring your little sister along with you. Okay,
Although
so
that would be more frightening.
Yeah.
right, so coming back out, back in the cabin. Then is it straight back to the Savoy? Then oh no, or you're going to
Via Knightsbridge.
yeah, go to Knightsbridge first. Whereabouts in Knightsbridge, sir?
Lennox Gardens, please.
Okay, so what are you once the taxi pulls up outside of your abode, Charles? What are you retrieving from apartment?
Okay, I was thinking about changing. Perhaps it is better to change at the hotel.
Meter's running.
Would you? Well, that's fine. That's no problem at all. I'll pay him. Yes, but we change at the hotel. In that case, I'll
Yep.
just grab a few items. So yeah, pop in and yeah, just pick up torch, a couple of batteries, and my Mauser with some
Okay.
ammunition.
Right, so you've got your Mauser, you've got your sawn-off shotgun. Okay, right. So about half an hour after you arrive at the Savoy, after Douglas and Jacob arrive, then the other two follow suit. Presently, you're all in the suite in the Savoy.
No signs of any people watching the Savoy.
No, you've not seen anything. You've kept your eyes and your wits about you on
Mm.
your travels. You've not seen anything beyond what Bert witnessed when coming out of the pub.
So I'm guessing the reason those two fellows wanted to follow us is to find out who we were. But sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Well,
you're all in the room now.
Mm.
Bert, you have swathes of clothes.
Yeah. Pass them all out to everybody so we can
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
get
Thank you,
changed.
Bert.
Appreciate it.
That's going to be a squeeze.
I should look
was-
after them.
Hoping you could. We're going to buy some, but I think I'm a little taller than you. But ill-fitting clothes probably more suitable. Hope I don't rip them. So
That's
thank you.
fine.
So what time we're going to head out?
You glance out of the window and you can see that light is beginning to fade outside. It's approaching. It's gone past 4 now, February, so it gets dark quite early still. It'll be dark by 5:30.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we get some food first?
Yeah.
You're going to order a room service.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you call to the reception to order some food. Is there anything else that you want to do between now and the time that you set off towards Limehouse?
No,
Did you
No.
bring your did you bring your car here then in the end,
No.
Charles? You didn't.
No. Yeah, it's going to be too obvious in Limehouse.
Yeah. I
But
don't
out
think
of
it'll
interest, would the Savoy have a garage?
Yeah,
So if, for example, I just drive here, leave it here.
yeah, it would.
It's maybe something to consider for future.
Okay.
indeed.
Or perhaps if we need a car, could buy a less conspicuous.
Nice to
Well-
have the option, sir.
It's very
I would
kind of you, Charles.
Well, if you have the resources, then use them for good.
Well, I think we might well be leaving the country in the not too distant future, so I wouldn't go investing in a car just yet.
How's that leaving the country? Why is that?
Because once we are done here, there are other cults active in other countries that we will need to address in much the same way as we are addressing this one.
Okay, jolly good.
But we can tell you about that should we survive the night.
Need to know. Understand?
Well, you do need to know,
Mm.
but this is perhaps not the time.
Hmm.
So what? As the time kind of ticks around to you've eaten your food in the room. Time ticks around to about 7 o'clock.
If for any reason we get we have any police entanglements, do we have a cover story for being in Limehouse?
Not at that time of night. Nothing that will hold.
Plus, I don't think the equipment that we'll have with us will really be explainable.
No, I would suggest that our story is run.
It's a short story.
Yes, that's often, but one of the most effective ones.
Indeed, run and scatter. I'm going to retire to my room until it's time to leave. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to discuss.
No, we're ready. We're sorted. We're ready.
Well, if you have a little time, Jacob or Douglas, if you could let me know a little bit more of what you're investigating here and Stanton's involvement, I'd appreciate it. I realise it's going to be a long story. Anything that you think you could help, be appreciated.
I shall leave that with you, Jacob. I have something I need to attend to. Go to my room.
Okay. Everybody else doing sitting around.
Yeah. Just killing time. Just wait for
Okay.
the action to start.
Mm.
So, obviously, gentlemen, I realise that you have been through a lot. Can't begin to fathom what you may have seen with your own eyes. And for me, it's just visions that I've had in my head. Obviously, this is a delicate situation for me with my position in government at the moment. But anything that I can do to assist here or abroad, certainly like to do so.
Perhaps once all this is over, Charles, we'll sit down and bring you up to date with our inquiries so far.
So please don't think any less of me if I am wary of any jeopardy that we may encounter. I could certainly assure you that I would not shirk them. By the same token, nor do I wish to get involved with one quite just.
Oh, we'll try and avoid that if possible,
Yes.
but we don't
I'm
seem to have been
sure.
very successful at that so far.
Yeah, there aren't many people that are alive these days that keep running into it.
Simon, did you want to speak to me separately?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So the time comes for you to all leave. You said you were leaving at 8, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The streets outside are vibrant with London folk going about their normal business. Restaurants, pubs, nightclubs, completely oblivious to your nefarious activities. How are you going to get to Limehouse then?
Can we sneak out the back of the hotel and then hail a cab from there?
Okay. Yeah, there are cabs back on the front.
And then keep a careful eye as we. I don't suppose we probably really wouldn't want the taxi to drop us off right outside the warehouse, do we?
No, I think we should just head for Cable Street in Shadwell, and we
Yeah.
can walk into Limehouse from there.
Okay, so you're going to get so the cab takes you all the way along Cable Street till you get to Butcher Row.
Yeah.
It drops you off there, which means you just got to walk the short trip across St James's Gardens towards the Limehouse. Can I get you to roll percentile dice, please, Jacob?
34.
Okay. So you leave the taxi cab and begin walking, relatively short walk towards Limehouse Basin. Well, you know that Chowder's warehouse is on the east side of Limehouse Basin, in an area called Ropemaker's Field. The warehouse itself kind of backs directly onto the docks of the canal, which then feeds into Limehouse Basin. From where you were dropped off, it's about a 20-minute walk, less than that. But certainly Jacob, you're pleased to note that there appears to be very little or no fog around tonight.
It's a relief.
The day has been cold and clear, so one of the few nights of late where it hasn't been foggy. But you're moving towards spring now, so hopefully the pea supers that you've experienced over the past few weeks will be less than previously. Okay, so you're just going to head directly towards Limehouse Basin and then walk around towards the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keeping a very careful eye out for anyone who might be tailing us.
Okay, Limehouse at night. It's kind of an uneasy stillness. It's quite a threatening place, with kind of lurking shadows, muffled sounds, the distant sound of ship horns, and you can hear the lapping of water, flickering gas lights. You make your way along narrow cobbled streets. All the time you can. The air around here is heavy with the scent of brine, coal smoke. But there's also another kind of faint, sickly sweetness in the air, which Bert immediately recognises as being the smell of opium drifting from hidden dens within Limehouse. Occasionally, when you go past shuttered windows, you can hear murmured voices from within. The odd furtive footstep down alleyways. You feel a lot less conspicuous in the clothes that Bert has fashioned for you than you did previously, however. And nobody seems to pay you much attention. Saunter through the west part of Limehouse to the docks. So presently you're standing on one side of Limehouse Basin, looking across to the far side, to the east of the basin, where you can see the large red brick building of Punnett Chowder's warehouse backing onto the water itself. There's a beat up freighter which is moored about 40 yards away from the warehouse itself. You can see in the faint light flickering gaslight, and there is some electric light here as well. The faded name, the Ivory Wind, painted on its side. What you can do?
Ivory Wind, was that
Yes.
the boat that the items were going to be dispatched on?
Yeah, it's the one that has a shipment to Shanghai.
Well, we possibly should have a look at the warehouse and see where the entrances are.
Yeah, let's worry about the ship later.
Okay, you're gonna make your way across towards walk directly towards the warehouse, then, yeah?
Yep.
All four of you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of buildings around here. A lot of warehouses lining the edge of the basin. A lot of ships moored as well. You make your way towards, so you can get closer to Chowder's warehouse, till finally the warehouse kind of looms over Limehouse Basin. It's one of the largest warehouses in the area. It's fashioned from red brick and iron. You can see its facade is streaked with soot and grime. There are narrow soot-blackened windows which punctuate its walls. Iron shutters on the ground floor seem to be all closed. There's a cobbled pathway which leads from the water's edge to large doors that open on one side of the warehouse, and you can see on the side of one of the sides of the warehouse where there's a set of steps, brick steps with an iron railing that lead up to another smaller door so it's an external staircase. Those seem to be the only two entrances to it: a smaller, higher up door atop the external staircase, and the larger double doors that would be like the loading doors that face onto the wharf side itself.
Are there any lights on inside?
You can't see any lights. There's lots of windows, like, as I mentioned, but there doesn't seem to, it seems to be in darkness. But what you can see, those are two from where you are at the moment. You can see two figures. You can't really see any more details. Two men, and they are standing at the bottom of the staircase that I mentioned, standing at the bottom of the external staircase. Quite casually leaning against the rail. One of them's leaning against the wall. Both smoking. Look like they're kind of just chatting, really.
I think that door up the staircase is probably our best bet. We would have to get rid of the guards. We'll distract them if they are guards. Perhaps if we wait a few minutes, and if they are just residents hanging around, then they might go after a few minutes. If not, then they're likely to be guards, and we're going to need to deal with them somehow.
Any chance of getting through one of the windows, especially away from the guards?
The downstairs, all the windows that are on the down floor seem to have those iron shutters that I mentioned earlier, wrought iron shutters. But the windows are on the second and there are three levels by the looks of it. The windows on the second and third level don't have any shutters, but they obviously are higher up. You could access the windows from the staircase, but that would seem pretty pointless because you'd be standing right outside the door. So you're just going to stand on the edge of Limehouse, just kind of looking into the water, and every now and again glancing around to see what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think find somewhere fairly dark and shadowy, so we're not too obvious.
Does it look like a difficult climb to get up to second floor window?
The building itself is quite poorly maintained. There's a lot of. It looks like you could potentially, if you're a decent climber, you could potentially use the handholds in the bricks that need pointing and scale it. But you'd have to be a fairly proficient climber to do that. It's difficult to tell exactly from where you are, though. It would certainly seem that there would be handholds on the side of the building if you had some ability to climb.
Okay.
As you're watching. Bear with me a second, I've got a cough.
Presumably, we'd still need to distract the guards to be able to climb. Otherwise, you'd be a bit exposed.
It's probably no other option. We're going to have to deal with the guards.
Mm.
I don't think there's
No,
unless we distract them somehow. But
you see one of the two individuals that are standing at the bottom of the external staircase, smoking. You hear a kind of peal of laughter. One of them sort of slaps the other one on the back, and one of them starts walking down the side of the building. He's kind of looking around. He comes around the front. You see him looking. He looks up at the big doors. He goes up to the door and you see him checking. Looks like there's something you can't really see it from where you are, but he's checking something on the door, maybe like a chain or something on the big double doors. You see him pull something like he's then looking up at the windows above, and then he wanders off. His body language suggests he's doing a lot of this quite half-heartedly, but he is certainly kind of doing a patrolling the.
But there's a period where he is out of sight of the other man.
Yeah, but when he's on three sides of the building, he's out of sight of the other guy.
Yeah.
To get around the far side and got him when he's on his.
Yeah. Suppose we have to do that very effectively. Make sure he doesn't make a noise.
So say 2 people hide around the corner. The other 2 keep an eye on him, signal when he's about to turn the corner, jump him that way. Is that what you're thinking?
Actually, it might help if the 2 people who are not going to get him, distract him a little bit just before the other 2 attack him.
Might be better to have one person distract him, less threatening. So someone distracts him, asks him a question or something, and then the other 3 jump him from behind.
How about the other 3 wait round the corner of the building, and as he's approaching that corner, I'll distract him from behind, try and get him to turn round, and then you should be able to come round the corner and surprise him.
When we hear you say something, that's the point where we jump because he'll turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you speak to him just as he's coming to get into the corner.
Yeah.
Works for me. Let's get on it.
All right.
As you're deciding that, you see some movement on the deck of the ship that's the freighter that I mentioned. It's the Ivory Wind. You see a man, a bearded, scruffy-looking man. He climbs off the deck onto the wharf, and then begins walking away from He's on his own.
He's not walking towards the warehouse.
He walks towards the warehouse, but then he takes another path which takes him south of the warehouse, heading back down towards the Thames, away from the Limehouse Basin. So no, he doesn't go towards the warehouse, and he doesn't acknowledge or communicate in any way with either of the men that you can see at the warehouse. You watch him disappear until he disappears behind some of the back-to-back that are there, kind of narrow, winding streets into the Limehouse itself. You're gonna approach the warehouse now, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'll do this from the opposite side to the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So your plan is you're going to make your way around the other side of the warehouse, so the opposite side of where the external staircase is. Yeah. I presume you're obviously going to go there when the other guy, what you think is a guard, isn't around that side. So you're going to wait for him to go back round, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get there, what are you going to do then?
Oh,
I
we
think-
just want to stay out of sight until the distraction.
Okay.
But I think the idea is, as he's walking up sort of one wall of the building, the 3 of them will be round the corner, and then as he approaches the corner, I'm going to try and distract him and get him to turn round while you guys jump him.
Right. Okay. Can you see where we are now on roll 20?
Yeah.
Right. So you guys, can you see my ping?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are somewhere over on this wharf over here.
Mm-hmm.
The warehouse itself is on this wharf over here, with the ship moored here in the basin.
Yeah.
So you've got the short end of the warehouse is facing the water, and then you've got 2 long ends. So what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be walking from where you are, and you're going across this little bridge here, where it says where that is. There's a bridge.
Yeah.
But then as you start walking along this wharf, you're walking directly towards the warehouse where the 2 guards stood over here. So if you're in a group of 4, they can see you approaching.
Could we walk down south towards Northie Street and then loop round so that they wouldn't see us?
Cross further down, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
We'll do that. We'll just take along. We've got time. We'll just walk around completely. So we'll come at the
They come over this
warehouse
far
from the
side.
from the opposite direction.
That side, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That will be ideal for us we'll end up at the short edge. Like you said, it faces the.
Yeah, you'll actually come out. Yeah, on the other side of exactly that. And
so we can wait at the short edge, jump them on the long edge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe one person needs to go down to the long edge with the stairs to check that they're both there and to see when one of the guards sets off.
Well, Jacob will be further around than the rest of us, ready to do the distracting.
Yeah. Well, I'll do that because then I can in effect sort of follow at a distance the one who's walking around the building.
So you're not really doing this in any kind of at this stage to get in the position. You don't really have to do it in any stealthy fashion because using that route, you're approaching from the other side. You know, there are still people walking around here, so it's not like it's just my point originally was that there's going to be 4 of you just walking in a big group directly towards the warehouse.
Yeah, that would have been mad.
Okay, so once you take that extra time via that circuitous route via Northeast Street, you come out on the east side of the warehouse, and then head directly towards the area that you're looking to, where the 3 of you are looking to wait. You can't see anybody there, but obviously at this point you can't see where the guards are now.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you going to wait? You're going to wait on that short side that we talked about, the opposite end to the basin, and then where are you going to go to, Jacob? You're going further around to the front, are you? So you can get behind. Yeah.
So I can see the guards, and then the idea is when one of them peels off to start walking around the building, I'll follow at a distance, and then as soon as he goes round from the long wall round to the short wall, I'll close the gap quite quickly while he's sort of out of sight, and then the idea is to catch up with him sort of just before he bumps into the others around the other corner.
Okay, so you get into position. All 3 of you on the short, Hardy on the short wall, and then Jacob, you go around the front, and you see that the 2 guards are back by the staircase. They've moved a little bit away from the staircase, so they're kind of kicking stuff, like kicking bits of detritus around, just chatting, hands in pockets. Both of them start strolling down towards the front of the warehouse, and then turn the corner, and they're now both standing in front of the doors that overlook the basin. So what are you going to do?
Are the doors on the short wall facing the basin, whereas the stairs are on the long wall facing sort of west, as it were?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
How far? So they're
away
actually
are they?
They're on a different face of the building to the stairs.
Yes, they're now on the front, the short face on the front rather than the stairs. They're just chatting. They're still kind of wandering about and moving.
I'll wait. So I think unless I was going to think about going for the door, but I'm not confident that they're stationary enough at the moment. So I'll keep watching.
Okay. One of them hands something to the other, and he slips it in his pocket and turns back round and heads back towards the staircase. And you're quite almost delighted to see him actually begin to ascend the external staircase towards the door, leaving the other one on his own. Now, the other one then resumes his circuitous route around the warehouse. So he turns the corner and heads down the long wall on the far side of the building. He's heading now, obviously, along the long wall that you wanted him to, towards where your friends are hiding, waiting.
I'll start moving in that direction, but at a distance. The idea is as soon as he turns the corner and heads round from the long wall to the short wall, then I'm going to really close the gap.
Okay. So
the idea is to catch up with him just before he turns the next corner runs into the others.
So are you gonna you're gonna try and move quite quickly up then, but not to be heard at this stage?
No. Yeah, quietly.
Okay. Can you make a stealth roll?
That is a success. Yeah.
Well done.
Okay. So so your plan, it seems to be working. He's oblivious to your presence. He is now close to the end of the long wall and not far from turning around to see to the short wall where your 3 colleagues are. So what are you going to do? You're also
in my best Dick Van Dyke American London accent, I'm going to say, "Oi, ugly! What have you been doing with my wife?" And then start moving toward him quite quickly to get his attention.
Okay. He turns around. You see, he is of kind of Asian descent. One of the Lascars that you've seen hanging around outside the building in the daylight. He sneers at you, looks a bit confused, and then starts walking towards you quite purposefully. As he does so, he pulls a large knife from his belt.
Right. Well, we need to be rushing around from the other. Oh, I've heard the words.
Yep,
We need to go get him.
that's our cue.
Okay, so you're dashing around from the other side of the building.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Are you running around in any particular order? i.e., letting somebody go first, or are you just running? All of you just running around? Excuse me.
All running around, I'm guessing.
All running
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not that organised.
No.
I'm looking forward to rolling 100 again and tripping over as I go.
Yeah.
That's why I want to go first.
As soon as I see them closing on him, I'm going to smile broadly and calmly and slowly pull my gun to get it again. I'm trying to just dominate his attention.
Okie doke. Okay, so Albert and Douglas, you both sprint around the corner almost, pretty much simultaneously. And what's your movement rate, Albert?
It's 7.
Okay, Douglas, you as I said, you almost react almost simultaneously with your colleague, but your extra long stride gets you to the Lascar guard first. What are you going to do?
I am going to hit him in the back of the head really hard.
What with?
A fist. With a blackjack.
Oh, you've got a blackjack. Of course you
Yeah.
have. Okay.
I've got all sorts.
We're going
Okay.
equipped.
Right. Blackjack. That's a brawl, isn't it, for a blackjack?
Yes.
That's not theirs, mate.
It's a much better chance of shooting him. Miss miserably.
Okay. I'm just having a look here. You have automatic. He doesn't know you're there, and you have surprise. So you don't actually have to roll.
Good.
He's completely oblivious to you. So you just smack him on the back of the head with the blackjack.
Cool.
I presume you're trying to knock him out. That's
I am trying. I'm not trying to kill him. Okay. Roll damage then.
Yeah, roll the damage. I'm just going to work out with. Oh no, I was going to see whether he's knocked out first. Hold on. Let's roll the damage.
Rule of cool says he's unconscious.
Yeah.
Okay, you dash round the corner of the building, closely followed by Bert. You raise the blackjack, and his attention is completely fixed on the gun that Jacob has just drawn in front of him. Bring the blackjack down, it smacks him right on the back of the head with a dull thud, and he literally just crumples like a heap of clothes in front of you. Just drops, his lying on the ground now. His blade goes skittering across the floor. It doesn't move.
Excellent. We need to bind and gag him.
Right. Whip his shoes off. Throw his shoes out to the side. Take a sock off and stuff a sock in his mouth. And has he got a belt?
Yeah. I hope so.
Belt, arms behind his back, and tie him up with his belt. So then he is bound and gagged and shoeless.
I would take one shoe off. You can run in bare feet. You can't run in one shoe. It's very difficult.
Okay. There's the
I
light
put
here.
a stone in it.
Okay, so you do all those things. You render him.
Tie his ankles together as well.
Does he have 2 belts?
He might have braces. He might have belt and braces. He's a careful chap. Tie. Yeah, maybe he's got a tie, or we can
A scarf.
Sure, we can find something.
Take his trousers off and use those if we've got nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. We should find something like rip his shirt or something.
Okay, yeah, using the cover of the building and the kind of the gloom, you manage to render him completely helpless with your efforts.
And half naked. And note to self: this happens every time we get somebody, and then we don't have anything to tie them up with. So in future, let's bring something.
Something for the shopping list. Handcuffs.
Well,
Was
I've got
this the-
handcuffs, but you need just.
Was this the guy who headed up the stairs earlier?
No, this
The
is
one's
the
gone
guy.
upstairs. Did he get the one? Well, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say.
I'll check his pockets as
Okay,
we
he's
tie
got-
him up.
He's got some change, some dice, and some cards. That's about it.
But no key. Okay.
No key.
Oh, that was very efficient.
The
Looks
other
like
one.
I've done this before.
The other one was around the front.
Okay, as you're talking, obviously I presume you're talking quietly. You hear a kind of a creaking sound of a door from the other side of the building, and then a slam. Can everybody make a listen roll, please?
Nah.
Nope.
Cards hard success at Albert.
Albert
Albert.
seems to be carrying the rest of the group. He's found his natural habitat.
Okay, Albert, your keen ears. You can hear the soft footsteps of the other guard descending the external stone stairs around the corner from where you're currently all positioned.
Sorry, say that again. I'll get my head
So
up. He's coming down the stairs.
Yeah, so you're on the short. You guys are on the short wall opposite the not on the one that's facing the basement, but the other end. That's where you're tying, and just from that corner where you just go around the corner, you're tying up the guard. So you've heard the door open on the other side and slam close, but your keen ears have now heard some footsteps coming down that external staircase where you first saw the two guards standing. So
Okay.
on the long wall.
So someone's coming back down the stairs on the opposite side of the building to us.
Right.
Okay.
The other guard might miss this guy and might come looking for him soon.
Shall we loop around to go one direction to the other? Or try to trap the guard between us? Or do we want to wait for him to come down?
Well,
to this area?
we're on the long side, so he's going to go one way or the other. So 2 at one corner, 2 at the other corner.
Yeah.
And whoever gets him first, take him.
Yep.
So you're doing what? Sorry.
So on the short wall at the very back of the warehouse, away from the basin, we're going to station 2 of us at each corner, so that whichever long wall he approaches from,
Okay.
whoever's there is going to jump him. How are we going to divide it up? I think probably Bert and Douglas ought to separate, because I think
Yes.
Charles and I are probably less help.
Charles and I will go
West corner.
towards the water.
Okay.
Douglas and Jacob to the back of the building.
Yeah.
And we stay on the long wall, and then
We wait.
We're back a bit and wait to jump him as he turns onto the long wall, so it goes away from the door.
Or would it be better to use these 2 corners of the short wall?
No, we want him back around on the long wall again.
Okay, you hear him, the guard call out in what it sounds to you like a kind of maybe Chinese. He calls out twice. Is that maybe a name? Then he says something else in Chinese. I presume nobody can speak Chinese.
No.
No.
Not very useful down the dog and duck Chinese.
So, judging by the sound,
Afterwards.
judging by the sound of his voice, you think he's now round the front where the big doors open to the docks.
So coming towards me and Charles. So I might just turn around and see if I can gesture to Douglas to come.
If I see, I do. If I don't,
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, make a spot.
Totally fair.
Is that spot hidden? Yes, I succeed.
Okay, so you see Bert gesturing for you to come.
I stealthily make my way.
Make a stealth roll.
I said that, shouldn't I?
Well, he's
Make my way.
He's quite close now and moving along the side of the building.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, so you 3 are now kind of hidden round the corner of the long side of that building, looking forward at him. Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got brass knuckles ready. Hopefully Douglas has got his blackjack ready, and we'll see who gets in there first.
Okay. He's around the front, and you see him wandering forward towards the docks and towards the ship, the Ivory Wind that you saw. You can see him looking up and down the side of the docks. What are you going to do?
Wait.
Okay. He turns back round and begins heading back towards the building. Now you're hidden around the corner, but you have a line of sight to him because you've been watching him. So, ergo, he has a line of sight to you as well. However, you are hidden up against the side of the darkness. So can you make another stealth roll for me, please, to make sure you can stay hidden as he approaches the building?
Okay. I'm going to be standing behind the other two.
You don't need to make one because you're too far back, Charles.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
I'm practically invisible.
Yeah, I think we've both managed at least hard successes there.
Indeed.
Jacob?
I'm not with them.
Oh, no, you're not. You're further back.
No.
Right, you remain completely unobserved, and he literally just walks. He's walking. What he does is he's walking, looking around, and then as he approaches your side of the building, you see him, he actually turns back round and looks at the at the basin. So he's walking towards you, but not looking at you. He's looking in the opposite direction, which would offer you a perfect time to spring forward.
Right. Let's spring forward then.
He's completely
Okay.
oblivious to you. Your hide rolls are so good that he's just got no idea you're there, and he's looking backwards as he walks forwards. So you're going to jump forward, yeah?
Yeah, jump forward, whack him.
Okay. There's hardly any distance to cover because he's literally just coming right towards you. You spring forward and simultaneously unleash whatever violence you wish to upon the poor, unsuspecting soul.
Family man. Well,
I'll crack him over the head again.
You're going to try and hit him with a.
Yeah, just cosh him again.
Okay. Yeah, roll anyway, just in case you fumble. Because you do.
I do have I got previous. No, I
Hey.
absolutely nail it.
Yeah, he's completely oblivious to you. So are you going to hit him as well?
Just to make sure.
Word. Or you're going to wait to see what happens?
I'll wait to see what happens.
Okay, so once again, you spring forward from the darkness without being seen, and you smack him as hard as you can with the blackjack. I mean, I say he was looking backwards at the time, so he again almost in an almost comically similar fashion to the last one. He just crumples to the floor. You are conscious this is a little bit more dangerous because you've just done that more or less facing the basin, so it's a little bit more light here.
I'll try and grab the body before it hits the ground and cart him off round the corner.
Okay, you
This
are
must
almost
happen all the time around here, though. So I mean, it's pretty much regular occurrence.
normal stuff, normal service. So Bert, you're almost dragging the body before it's even hit the ground, like round the corner.
This is going way too smoothly. When are we going to roll something? The other really important bit, that's when the really bad rolls going to come out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
I'm
So you
thinking
drag
we
him back
probably-
around the side of the building into more darkness, more gloom, and out of the kind of out of sight of anybody that would be looking across the basin.
Excellent.
What are you going to do with him? Same routine, is it?
Same
Yep,
routine.
same routine, yeah.
One sock in the mouth, one shoe thrown away, tied up.
That's going to really. What freakish cult has taken them? They'll-
And check his pockets because I think this one will have a key on it.
Excellent.
Yeah, and true to form, he does have a key on him. In fact, he has a bunch of keys. There are 4 keys on it in total.
Let's waste no time. Should we head for the side door up the steps?
Yep.
Yes. I'm thinking about the chap from the ship. Whatever we do would be a good idea to complete our task before he returns and notices the guards.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we walk there, I'm going to just inspect the keys on the chain to see if I can select the most likely one to save a bit of time.
Yeah, you can see there's quite a large old-fashioned key, which would seem to be the one that's most likely to open the external door that you saw them at.
So we're going back down around the back of the warehouse on the short side.
yeah, you're not walking up as if you're
opposite
walking back around the front again. Yeah.
Marina, to the basin.
Yep.
We'll head up the steps and unlock the door.
Keep an eye out for anyone watching.
Probably flipping Jackson.
Okay, Jacob, you open the door with the key that you have, and you see a kind of landing area, the floorboards of which look to be quite worm-eaten and dirty, but still safe, you guess, because from cursory observation. There's one door leading off the landing into what looks like to be some sort of office area, small kind of office space. And then in the middle of the landing is what can only be described as a fireman's pole, which goes down and you open to the warehouse below, and you can see loads of boxes and crates and other wares stored in the warehouse. It's pitch dark in here.
Did we start with the office?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're gonna need your torches.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep them low and away from the windows.
Okay, so you open the door you use the key to open the door to the office. There's a couple of filing cabinets, metal. Again, another one of the keys that you've got on the keyring may open these. And their desk with a couple of drawers in. You all going to go into the office? Start searching around?
I'll watch the door.
I'll say, do you want me to watch the door? Be happy to watch.
Yeah, I'll watch. You can actually no. I'm good at searching things. It was my job.
I'm
gonna
good at
start
listening and spotting.
Start with the desk.
I'll stay by the door in
Mhm.
case anyone
okay.
comes.
Maybe Charles should watch. I think we've identified that his skill is in watching whilst other people work.
Nice. Okay, you search through the drawers and the cabinets. There are lots of papers, invoices, receipts, ledgers. From most of them appear to be either written by or signed by Punit Chowdhury, who obviously runs the business here. You're a bit frustrated after kind of 10 or 15 minutes flicking through, because most of it just refers to imports and exports of goods. Exporting goods that you'd expect from here to the Far East, and vice versa. There's nothing documented in any of these receipts or invoices or ledgers that jumps out at you as having any relevance to any of your investigations.
Nothing signed Gavigan or.
No, nothing like that at all. There is a reference to the Ivory Wind on a number of documents as being the carrier, as it were, and you can glean from various bits of information that you can piece together that the ship's route seems to include stops in Marseille, Malta, Port Said, Aden, Bombay, Singapore, and Shanghai, and then reversing that route. But as I said, everything seems to be above board, as far as you can make out from the documents that you found in this office.
It's disappointing. We're going to try and search the warehouse. That's going to be a bit of a taller order, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's ended up on the ship. Right, yeah, it's going to have to be the warehouse.
Down the pole.
Always wanted to do that.
Before we do, how'd you get back up again?
Climb up the pole.
Go outside and go up the stairs.
Doors are locked.
Got
Chain
keys.
on the outside.
We've got keys.
Thought there was a chain outside the doors.
I said you saw him fiddling with something on the door. You couldn't actually see from where you were.
We could open a window if it came down to it.
You can just go back outside and around the front if you need to.
It would be a serious design fault of the warehouse. Right, let's search
Or
the
a good
place.
trap.
That's true.
So you're going to go down.
Release the jaguars.
You're going to go down into the warehouse proper, then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose the problem is we're not going to be able to have time to lever open multiple boxes, are we? We're just going to have to try and find something from the markings on the boxes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So which city am I looking for?
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Anything Australian? Well, I think by the sound of it, by the look of those papers, it's the Shanghai route that starts from here.
Okay. You get down into the warehouse itself and you start shining your torches around. You can see there are lots of different crates of different sizes and shapes. However, there's one lot of crates that seem to have been moved towards the doors of the warehouse and are sitting separately to all the others.
Okay, check those out then.
Yeah, looks like those are what to be moved next. Or
One
moved
of
out
them,
next.
one of them is a particularly large crate, almost kind of coffin size, about kind of 5.5 foot high, kind of rectangular. You remember previously the kind of description that Lex, bless his soul, gave when he saw the men loading something out of the Penhew Foundation to the lorry. A lot of those, you look at the crates, and a lot of those are labelled Cairo Museum, Egypt. You make a spot hidden roll, everybody, please.
Nah.
Ooh.
That's a success for me.
Okay, Jacob, as you shine your torch.
I just ignored. I think Charles probably wins out.
Oh,
It's
does
team
he?
success.
definitely.
He's literally got
Yeah.
X-ray vision.
What's this?
Okay, Charles, you glance around and you notice that underneath the labels that say Cairo Museum, Egypt, on each one of these crates, on a lot of the ones that have been separated out, there's a label underneath that says Ho Fang Import Export, Koyang Street, Shanghai, China. It's in both English and Chinese.
That's what we want. Well, I say it's what we want. I didn't really like what was in the last one we opened.
And what was that?
It was a mind-bending statue that gets into your mind.
Very good. So we leave these crates here.
Well, unfortunately,
Or
these are the kind
open
of
them
crates that we want to prevent getting away. If anything, we
Mm.
need to destroy them.
So a fire would be a bit too obvious. We don't seem to have a
Mm.
yes, with the ship being outside, I guess it wouldn't be so easy just to throw them into the river.
No, but they could also be retrieved, couldn't they? Well, how many things
Mm.
are there?
How many what? Sorry.
How many crates are there that have marked up?
There are 15 crates that are all marked up in the same way and all moved away towards the doors, as if they're waiting to be
Various,
collected.
the various sizes, or are they all
Uh,
large, like I said?
No, they're not all large. They're various shapes and sizes. The one that I mentioned, the large one is unusual. The rest of them are more kind of normal size crates. As you're shining the torch around, Douglas, you also notice amongst the other crates. Sorry, who was it? Who rolled the second best spot hidden roll?
No, Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah, Jacob. You notice that there's not the ones that are set aside, but amongst some of the other crates, there is one, or two or three that say "danger explosives" on the side.
I'll point that out to the others. It looks like Jackson's come through with us. Come through the goods. Here they are.
That's incredible.
How about we take most of the explosives and set fire to some of these boxes?
Well, the dynamite will go, won't it? The explosives will go once the fire takes hold.
Well, that's what I mean. And that will destroy the contents of boxes.
Do we want to see what's
Just-
in the boxes, or are we just going to assume that it's all bad? There may be books in there that will be of value to us.
And could there be anything else that would aid our investigations?
We're going to have to look inside, aren't we?
We need to be quick if we are.
Just
Okay.
a quick
for the smaller
rules.
crates
Just
or
a quick
the
rules
large crates?
question, Darren.
Yeah,
Which skill is it for explosive use? Is it a specific one?
good question.
I think it's kind of like there was mechanical repair had something to do with it.
Yeah, I think it might be mechanical repair. Actually.
Electrical or mechanical repair.
Can't see anything
Demolitions,
else.
apparently.
So
It's
demolitions.
Yeah, it's in the investigator's book.
Or is that for a sort of like a modern era game?
Not on our sheet.
Yeah, it's a good question, Dave. I don't know the answer. We'll have to go. I'll find that out, but I'm not going to spend all my time looking now. So
That's fine. Sorry.
it may be that
Well, For
it
the
says
time being, all we're going to do is set fire to things, aren't we? So don't think there's much
Yeah.
skill involved.
Looking
which
at the closest thing I see, bank robbers. The skills you get as a bank robber: electrical or mechanical repair, operate heavy machinery.
Actually,
Yeah.
demolitions is in there, but it's referred to as an uncommon skill. So
Okay.
What do you
Never
say?
mind. Moving on.
when you say it's
That's-
in there, what do you mean? It's in where?
it's on page 104 of the Investigator's Handbook.
There you go. Then that's what it is.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well,
Thank you.
Maybe you have to
Well-
write it down separately then.
But
Yeah.
don't forget,
Yeah.
But in terms of the skill, though, I mean, demolitions would involve actually the skill in placing the things in the right
Yeah.
place. So just chucking
Yeah.
a stick,
Blowing-
chucking a stick
blowing
of
up
dynamite
bridges.
at somebody doesn't really.
Throwing a grenade is throw.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it
exactly.
it says here on it says the skill includes setting and diffusing explosive charges, mines and similar devices designed to be easy to set. No roll required.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
it's using dynamite or throwing stuff. Like you said, it's just throw. It doesn't really. You don't really have to
Yeah.
have a lot of skill, not blowing yourself up. But we'll check that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Then
you
one of
said
us rolls the blow.
what was the decision about whether you wanted to open the crates or not?
We're going to have to open the crates because
Right, then.
So-
Let's get that crowbar. Let's get on this big one first.
Or did you not say it was
Okay.
the big one that had the mind bending statue?
no, that was a different one. We don't know we
Okay.
don't know what's in any of these.
Well, you
There
start
may be more statues,
crowbarring
but
open the big one.
Yep.
I mean it's
Um,
human size, so it's possible there's going to be something in here.
So the question is everybody watching Bert do this, or who's doing what?
I'm not looking.
You're not
Well,
looking.
If they're not looking, I'm not.
Okay, you're not looking. What about you, Jacob?
I can't bring myself to look. I've
Okay,
been burnt too many times. I'm going to start investigating the explosives instead.
okay. So Bert, you're on your own.
Apparently so.
He is probably a stronger mind than all of us.
Or maybe if Bert's opening it up, I'm going to watch Bert and try to avoid looking in the crate.
So, Bert, you open the crate. You crowbar it at the top and the bottom. It's lying down currently. You pull the lid, look inside. You see what looks to be a statue carved from a single piece of obsidian of an Egyptian pharaoh. However, the pharaoh's face is obscured by a mass of squirming tentacles, all intricately sculpted. You feel your heart begin to race as the tentacles seem to move as you look at them. Can you make a sanity roll, please?
Success.
Okay.
It was
You-
nails.
You close your eyes and rub your face, and then you look back at the statue and you realise that no, they're not moving. It was just a trick of the torchlight. But there was something quite unnerving about it.
Right, I'll slap the lid back down. Right, striker, right? Striker, right? I see what you mean. Weird obsidian statue. Look like a pharaoh. Right, what's the next one?
Okay, you move to the next one. Am I taking it that Bert's going to open all the crates?
Looks like it. He's nails.
Okay, that's what he's going to be called for now. Nails.
Nails.
He won't be by the he won't be by the last crate.
He'll be drawing pins by that point. Okay, Bert. Inside the next crate, you find oddly crafted valves, struts, and strange electrical circuit boards covered in wires, baffling radio tubes, and various other weird components, the likes of which you've never previously seen.
Right, close the lid on that one. Turn to the others. Well,
He's describing these things to us, I'm assuming. I'm hoping.
well, no, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm about to turn around and talk to you.
Okay. I was just getting excited.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Come on, come on.
It's Christmas and I'm Santa. So anyway, put the lid back around, turn around, and go, well, that's just a bunch of electrical parts and, stuff from radios and that.
That might be parts that were constructed in Derby. They might be shipping them in or making more than one, perhaps. You know, you said that we took items, but in fact, you've got some of them, but it's stashed.
Right, I'll move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got? Yeah. Can you make a percentile roll, please, Bert, before we move on to the next one?
This is like going through the treasure chest in D&D.
83.
Okay.
What are those?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
found a magic
Treasure chest.
sword.
I've heard of them, never seen them.
Oh, God.
The next crate contains a sandstone statue of a bat-winged creature. The creature is leaping forward, its wings unfurling behind it. Instead of a face, it has a single bulbous eye. Within the eye, there are 3 bulbous lobes. That's it. Some sort of weird bat-like thing with an odd
Right.
face.
I'll feed that back to the others, close it back up, move on.
Okay. The next one has a small statue of a horned devil-like figure. This is only about 6 inches or so, carved in dark rosewood, and it's dressed in the garb of a highwayman.
Little wooden devil.
As you look more closely, you see the figure is an unsettling cross between a man and a goat.
Mm.
Not looking that much more closely.
Okay. The next crate, which is this is almost like a box. It's a lot smaller, about a foot long, narrow box, within which is a knife with a 12-inch blade. It's kind of the blade is wavy, but looks to have corroded and dulled. But you can see inscribed along the length of the blade are strange symbols.
Oh, this one looks like it's got some sort of, this is cultish stuff, isn't it? So it's cultish dagger.
Just sword. Did you say it's a foot long?
Yeah.
Small enough to take.
I would suggest we take that because if it's got runes on it, it might have some magic attached to it. If it's used, it could be sacrificial, but it also might work against those creatures that we've seen previously that aren't harmed by firearms. It's a long shot.
I'll take it out and
Take
pass
that.
pass it to Douglas. Douglas can look after it for the time being.
Okay. The next box, which is approximately 18 inches long, contains something which is packed quite carefully. You have to kind of scramble through the packing to find a a pearlescent conch shell. The shell itself is probably it's bigger than your fist, and yeah, is extremely shiny and pretty.
Right. I'll just shrug. Pretty shell. Bit weird. But then again, it's all a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird. That
Small enough to take.
take it again. It
You
might
need
be take it, Charles.
Yeah, actually, it's a bit
Okay.
bigger than I thought. Actually, it's about 10 inches long, so that's quite a big size. But it's not massive, but bigger than the fist. So yeah, about 10 inches long by about 5 or 6 inches deep. So it's
Yeah, it
it's
could
like
fit in a large pocket of an overcoat.
I think we should take that because it may be useful. I mean, there's a reason why they're sending it. Things that don't automatically make us shy away, I think we should maybe take.
Maybe
Okay,
it's used as a horn. I'm sure.
Maybe.
How many things are left?
the next crate, the next box that you open doesn't seem to have anything in it until you scramble around in the bottom in the packaging, and you come across something that makes you make a sanity roll, please.
Oh, straight off the bat, eh? Before I even really know what it is.
Yeah.
I have succeeded.
Okay. But you're still shocked to see two what you initially think are a pair of odd-looking slippers. You suddenly realise that they're actually skin from human feet.
Ooh.
Both have been impaled onto a brass ring, like some sort of nightmarish giant-sized keyring.
I'll slam that one down and turn away in disgust. I won't describe it. I'll just tell the others. That one. No, I'm not talking about that one.
Okay. The remainder of the crates, and there are 3 of them, all contain the same maddeningly weird machine parts, valve struts, etc., that you saw in the first crate.
Okay.
All of them that you can tell are all brand new. Look like they've just been manufactured, and are packed very carefully.
Okay.
So maybe with these machine parts, we put a stick of dynamite in each one of them, and then when the blaze goes, having the dynamite within those parts.
That's a right good idea. You don't want them surviving a fire.
No.
You realise if we torch and destroy the place, we're not going to be able to look at the ivory wind. But as we cut our losses,
this is an ideal point to disrupt their operations.
Yeah.
And the ivory wind moves things. It's the things that they move that are important.
And we've got the book saying where all this was going, right?
You've got a piece of paper that says about the ledger. That
it wasn't a book; it was a ledger. Sorry, I heard ledger. I thought it was a book, but it's not. It's just papers. Okay.
Yeah. So you took that, did you, with the ports of call? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So you, Jacob, whilst the rest of the guys, Bert was opening these other crates, you were looking at the explosives, weren't you?
Yeah.
So there are within those crates that are marked explosive. One of them has 12 grenades in a grenade box. 12 Mills bombs. Exactly right, Blake.
Yay.
The other one contains a canister with 20 sticks of dynamite in it.
Woohoo!
I would suggest
3 Mills bombs each.
Yep. We take the Mills bombs and we leave the dynamite to do its work.
I think we should take some of the dynamite.
Some of the dynamite, yeah.
Because we might need it for if there is a ceremonial altar, for example.
Yes.
Just put a stick in each of a stick in each of the crates of things we want to destroy. Probably only about 4 or 5.
Well, we want to destroy it. We want to destroy all 50. We want to destroy all 15 crates, don't we? You say there are 20 sticks.
Yeah.
I thought there were 10 crates.
There's 12 grenades and 20 sticks of dynamite.
How many crates?
Well, there's 10.
How many crates got stuff in, Darren?
The crates with stuff.
How many crates that have got stuff in by the doors? There's 15.
Yeah, not 10, 15.
Okay.
So if we put a stick of dynamite in each of those, that leaves us with 5.
5
should be enough, shouldn't it?
Can we get away with using 10 and keep 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
in the crate next to in the same crate that the canister that's in has the 26 dynamite, Jacob, there's also 5 sawn-off shotguns. Holland and Holland sawn-off shotgun.
We take those as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, to be honest, it's not illegal to carry a shotgun, even if there's or not.
Okay, so we're
Middle.
taking 12 grenades, 10 sticks of dynamite. We're leaving 10 to destroy the crates, and we're taking the 5 sawn-offs.
Can everybody make a percentile roll, please?
Bert got 47.
44.
54.
88 for Charles.
Sorry, who got the lowest?
Me, was that
Jacob.
44?
Jacob did 44, yeah.
Okay. The next one was what?
Bert was 47.
47. Nails, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, nails.
Nails Briggs.
But you're kind of looking around, watching Jacob removing the sawn-off shotguns from the crate when you suddenly, your keen ears hear some sounds from outside. You stop and listen. You can hear some voices, maybe a couple of voices. No, 3, 4, no, maybe more. Half a dozen voices, quite loud, maybe quite jovial, but they're approaching the front of the warehouse from the dockside. You can hear that their speech doesn't seem to be English. What you can do? Is everybody still there?
No, I'm still there. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for.
What's everybody going to do? What are you going to? Yeah, what? Are you,
Oh, everybody. So
only you've heard it so far. So what are you going to do?
Jacob's heard it.
No, you
No,
heard it.
you have, Bert.
no,
Bert.
I'm going to go. I'll say, quick, hide, and get everyone to duck down behind some crates
Yep.
towards the back.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to say
So
there are lots of crates towards the back. But that's really those are the only ones that you've got any chance of hiding behind.
Yeah, at the back, away from the door.
Okay, so are you all going to do that?
Everything's open. So
Yep.
if there's people coming, we need to blow this place and get out.
Yeah.
Grab the dynamite.
You can all now hear the voices outside. It does sound like they are. There's maybe like half a dozen.
They're going to load the stuff. We need to burn this place. Charles, Jacob, stuff dynamite in the boxes.
I'll start doing
Yeah.
that then.
Bert and me, watch the door, and we need to light it and get out as fast as possible. Use
Use the packing materials.
and just light it, and then we'll just run. 10 sticks, and we'll take 10.
So you're taking, just so that I get this right, what are you taking with you? Can you just remind me? Because I want to work out whether
We're taking all the Mills bombs.
Yeah, all the Mills bombs. Yeah,
The
10 sticks of dynamite.
it's dynamite.
10 sticks of dynamite. Right. Yeah.
The dagger and the conch shell.
We're going to take a sawn-off each.
Yes, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
and the sawn-offs.
Okay,
So
that's it.
four of
So
5.
Okay.
Was there ammunition with the sawn-offs?
Yes.
Okay.
But that'll be you can just about carry all of that. But that'll be it.
We'll have no ammunition left by the time we get out. So,
And then basically head out the back of the warehouse through one of the windows on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Having set light to the packing material.
The second set light to the packing material. What with the in the crate where the 10 sticks of dynamite remaining?
Well, we were putting a stick of dynamite in each of the crates.
Yeah.
Up to a number of 10, and then we're taking the other 10, and then we're going to light one of the crates and run like hell.
Okay.
So we've all got 2 sticks of dynamite each, and then there's 2 spare.
3.
Okay, and we'll take 3, and
Okay.
whoever wants.
You're legging it out through. Where did you say you're going to go through? You're not going to go through the door. Then you're going to go. You're not
Out
going
the
to go
back and then out a window.
Yeah. Okay.
With
Damn it,
all
Charles
our
was right.
spoils.
Is it worth dropping a Mills bomb behind us through the window to really get things started?
That won't light anything.
No, it's just shrapnel.
Just cut holes.
Well, it's just let's just get out. Let's just run. And if it doesn't explode, we'll have to go back in. And if they manage to put the fire out in time, we've got to go back and kill a lot of them. So we've just got to run.
Okay. You could just as you're finishing your work and collecting, like scrambling around, you can hear the chain being unlocked outside, and the voices in what you think is probably Chinese. They're quite loud and talking as if you guess that they might have been drinking, but they still seem oblivious as you make your way out of the other side of the warehouse.
Okay, is the fire going nicely?
Yeah, you set the fire.
Okay.
And you just leg it, yeah?
Yeah, out the back window.
Okay. The docks were quiet, too quiet. A few Lascars lingered near the warehouse, their voices low. Somewhere in the gloom, Footsteps echoed, hurried, purposeful. Then it came. A sudden flash of searing light, brilliant and unnatural, erupted from a warehouse near the wharves. An instant later, the night was torn asunder by a thunderous roar. The ground shook violently, sending ripples through the stagnant water of the Thames. Windows shattered, shards of glass cascading like crystalline rain. Flames leapt skyward, licking greedily at the night, as the investigators retreated into the dark. There you go. Made this into a bit of a habit, blowing stuff up and setting fire to things, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice to know it was so predictable that you had a prepared piece.
Yeah. It's like, what are they going to blow up this week?
Thanks for joining us. Hurry back next week to find out the answer to the question, what are we going to blow up next week? Well, we're heading to Gavigan's country estate, so see you there.